2019, got the nonprofit status in 2019, okay? A year before, well, some 6 months before you know what hit, right? So we have been planning this plant for a long time, and thankfully, God got us going such that we were on the ground when COVID hit, okay? So we have leadership with experience in rural and urban ministry. We have a cooperative service model. I'm going to keep moving. I got my socks.
Yeah.
Because I've got 9 grandkids. You know, when you're old like me and you got this funny colored hair, you know, I got to keep doing stuff so that, we'll see if it works when they're like 16. Okay, I don't know what they're going to say. Time out, Bob. Let's do those. All right. So we use a cooperative service model, right? And so what we're doing is we work with area churches, okay? And then we have businesses and other like-minded nonprofits and organizations that want to work with families and children in West Fort Worth. We're very much volunteer-driven. That's our model, okay? Not to say that we're there. That's our model that we're working on, okay? So our mission statement, and this is really important, and part of the reboot. So when Brian asked me to speak, his whole point was, let's talk about reboot. So I'm going to tell you what we've done, because you don't know anything about West Fort Worth Center of Hope. So you know what we've done, how we got through COVID. And so the reboot is based on what we've done and our desire to continually provide excellent services for the people. Sometimes you got to look at yourself carefully and say, are you doing what you're supposed to be doing? And if you come out saying, well, maybe not everywhere, so what are you going to do about it? Okay? Make some changes, and that's what reboot is all about, changing your hard drive. So that's what that's about. So we're committed to helping families in the Las Vegas Trail community achieve higher levels of self-sufficiency as they grow their relationship with Christ. That's what we're about. So, the ministry model is, I'm messing up.
It's okay, it's
You want
okay.
me to twist this around so you can see it?
So you're fine.
Does that have x-ray vision?
You're fine. You're fine. You're fine. You're fine.
So basically, we establish core competencies. That's what are we going to do with trained staff, okay? How blessed we are to have these folks, okay? Then we expand our capability, build capacity with trained volunteers. That's what our model is, okay? Because you can't afford to hire staff to do everything, right? I think we all know that. But this is not a new model. This is the model that we use. So what we have to be doing is that model has to make sure we inspire and mobilize the church. If we don't inspire and mobilize the church, what's the point? Who's going to really do the work? Honestly, it's the church. It's Christ through his people that allows these families to come out of the darkness and grow into the light, right? So, it's critical investment. What we have to make sure that our volunteers see very clear mission objectives, clarity of what we're about, and what is the community impact. Our volunteers want to know, okay, if I'm going to spend my time with you, so what? Really? This is not news. This is not news, but this is what's driving us, okay? We match the roles with a volunteer's gifts and time constraints. A volunteer that is a mismatch is a volunteer that's going to go somewhere else, okay? And what we do is hard work. Y'all know that, right? A lot of volunteers, you know, they want to do it, but they don't know how. So our job is to allow them to find what they are gifted, what the Lord has prepared them already, works of service, right? So they can step into that with a little help, so eventually they're standing on their both feet, and I have the importance of their ministry. So that's what our model is about. Not news, okay? So, it's all kingdom work. Be honest with you, I didn't grow up with this whole idea. Okay? Where I came from, this isn't yet benevolence. Somebody came into the church, you ship them to benevolence. That's what I learned. What was my role? Well, if they came to church, I'd say hi to them. You know, and eventually, you know, maybe I might be hospitable and let them into my house if they came to church. And, you know, whatever those things. So I didn't understand that really I had a role in this kingdom work. And part of the kingdom work through the body of Christ is to step into difficult situations and let Jesus empower you to just show them you love them. You really love them. They're not a project. They're a person. And you just get to know them. And then that's when it happens. That's the magic. Right? We know that. We all know that. Okay, so what do? We have 3 programs. Okay, we have something called Camp Hope. We have an apartment ministry that we have, and we call Building North Texas. So those are our 3 programs that we developed, and then we're working on, I'll talk a little bit about each one. This is just to give you a history of what we've done. Am I credible to stand up here and speak to you and you don't even know me? Okay? And so when you see Amanda and Malik down the road and you meet them, you know, this is an organization that's doing stuff since 2019 by the power of Jesus. It's no other way but Jesus has done it. Okay, so this is Camp Hope. What are we trying to do? We're trying to help those children. The children in the war zone are the battered ones. Why all those questions? You know what? That they don't even know. They don't smile. They just cower around in the corner. So some of the apartment complex we work, I'll show you, I don't have the pictures, but you know, we had to go beforehand to clean up the glass, pick up the dog mess, the condoms, the dead rats, and all around this are the broken windows. Yeah. These are where the kids are living. And then there's open sewer lines dripping. This is in Fort Worth, just right over there. I'm just telling you. Want me to give you a tour? I could do it, okay? And the water's running down this is where these kids live. You're really important, kids, right? Really? Okay, so these are the children that we're ministering to, and I could just tell you, there's Asa, 11, somebody, this little boy, Jeremy. So Jeremy is smiling in that picture. The first couple of camps that we went to, Villa State Sonoma, West Fort Worth, he would come and he just would look at you like this. Deadpan. What's going on? Nothing. How you doing? Fine. So after camp, they saw that they could come be with us safely, have fun, do something that's Jesus related. I don't have a picture here, but we did the Genesis story. They went from one station to another. Day 1 is this day. That is so much fun. But we poured into them because they just needed a place to be kids safely, be loved by Jesus, and by people they don't even know. So that's what this camp was all about. Okay? So we've done that. We've done that since 2019. All right? The next program is what we call the apartment ministry. That's really imaginative. Fortunately, Amanda and Malik are so creative. They know how to do stuff. They got better names from this. And I told Amanda, look, can we use the names that I know because I'm old and these are the ones that these are the logos that we come up with. And so when she's going to give the talk next time, she can have all this better words, okay? But the whole point is these families are second chance apartments. Y'all know what that is, okay? RAD. Some of you know what that is, what RAD is, okay, forward housing. So been evicted more than one time, so where are they going to go? They got no place to go. Okay, so we're working in these many apartment complexes in Las Vegas Trail and helping these families to not only just survive, but then thrive. That's really what this is about. So these are families that I can tell you story after story after story. Wonderful stories. The people there are stunningly amazing. So when you work in these communities and you see what it really is, it doesn't match what the news flashes give. If you read about Las Vegas Trail, and maybe some of you have, there's a lot of really dark things that happen in Las Vegas Trail. They still are. But that is a small percentage of what really is going on. Underneath that are amazing, godly people. And they just want to move forward and live that joy-filled life with Christ at their side. Okay? So things that we do, just so that you know, we do rent assistance. So when we got there, the principal, Ms. Montez, told me, Tom, do you know what it's like to have a child in my school, in the elementary school, get evicted? I didn't know. I said, no. She goes, it's devastating. Some of these kids may never recover. And eviction in Las Vegas Trail, if you haven't been there, eviction is you come day, and then you come to your apartment one day, and you can't open the door, and then you look down there or out there, and there's all your stuff on the side of the road. They call a constable. This is it. This is the real world. Okay? Drive by there, look. Somebody got evicted. I saw one the other day. The mattress over here, all the kids' toys are just strewn. People picked it out. That's what happened. And it's thrown out. Okay? In Fort Worth, right over there. That's just what happened. So we've come in to help them with funding, coaching, Christ, because in plans of action, I'll tell you a little bit more, but that's where we're trying to help them to become whole from a lifestyle point of view, find a job where they're not underemployed anymore, but they're employed, getting paid a living wage, help them learn how to budget. These are all the things we do. Life coaching, job prep, job resources, and just loving on them. A lot of times they just don't know. They just don't know. Work ethic. What is work ethic? What does an employer expect for you? How do you want to stay employed? Well, here's some things that you do. Your employer is not your enemy. Your employer is your friend. And you're cooperating, you're adding, and talk about stuff like that. Often they, and then you try to explain it, and in time, they get it. In crisis, truth of the matter, just the way it is. Folks are not thinking about tomorrow, right? Tomorrow's just another day. I'm just going to get beat up. Somebody's going to rip me off. So tomorrow, I don't want tomorrow. I'm just going to try to live right now and get what I got to get from me now. So trying to help them think about tomorrow is really what this is all about. So then we developed a class. It's Careers Now in Parker County. It's still ongoing. They're starting a brand new class in Careers Now. What this is a building career training course. It's a 5-week course. We wrote it. We put it together and we taught it for the better part of a year. About 61 students, 61 families. I think it's in here somewhere. I don't know where it is. But these folks will come at night, week after week after week, and learn a trade. We even had hands-on stuff. Show you some pictures. They got the hammer, they got the saw, and the chainsaw. They worked together. And what we did in that program, the plan was, is we advertised at large to the broader community of Dallas-Fort Worth, right? And then we had people from the Las Vegas Trail, poverty people, right? And they went into the class, and guess what happened at the class? Did anybody know where anybody came from? No. So the folks that came from Las Vegas Trail in poverty were no longer stamped as a poverty person. They're just like everybody else. And they could talk to people that are, well, I got this job, I'm doing it. So they could be equals, which is, they are. But they don't think they are. So it's a great class. I just love it. Okay? We taught them safety. The hands-on, we did it for a whole week. They got out there to build stuff. Oh, it just was fun. We built a storage shed. And we auctioned it off, paid $1,000 on this amazing storage shed we had. How am I going to move that? The guy said, look, I'll bring a trailer. Don't worry about it. Gave me the check. Away we go. Okay, so that was, how do you help folks get out and make a living wage? And in COVID, construction was one of the ones that was not getting beat up as many as the others. A lot of our families were looking fast food, right? All of those kind of jobs, they were closed, right? They had no place to go. How are they going to pay their rent? So that's what we did. It's an amazing class. Here's some of our folks. I'll just tell you, Aaron sent me an email a week ago. So Aaron, one of the things we tell folks is if you're going to work in construction, you can't be using any kind of drugs. That includes pot. And it's not that they're just like, well, we're the best in the world. It's just an insurance thing, okay? They can't have people that are impaired because you're working with all these tools. And so we tried to explain that. So she came up to ask for class, and she just said, Tom, I have to confess, I use pot. A lot. Okay. Now she had an interview that next week with a big company. So what we did, we had some connections with construction, and so we set up these interviews, okay? She wants to get a job, okay, here they're going to go. It was with Humphrey, okay? And I told her, I said, look, what they're going to ask you to do is a UA. They might ask you to do hair follicle. I explained hair follicle. She had no idea. And I said, so what they're going to do is they're going to find out that you have pot in your system, and they're going to throw you out the door. That's not what you need, okay? So let me tell you one option. I said, first of all, you can decide you want to continue to do this. I'm not a pro-pot guy. Just tell me like it is. People have choices. Let's say you could either choose to stop doing it, but no matter what, you're going to have to wait 90 days to wash it. I said, I would go and I would tell her. I can't remember the name of the gal she was going to interview. I said, that would be honest. Tell her that this is the issue. You're going to make some changes and see what she says. That's what she did. She went in. So the gal interviewer told her, thank you for being honest. Let's not do a UA. Come back in 90 days. She came back, and this is two years ago. She just texted me. She's still working there. It's been there for 2.5 years. She went back, passed the test, right? And now she says, Tom, do you have any more students? Because my company is hiring, we want to hire more Building North Texas students. What kind of ambassador is that? Now, I spoke to her about Christ and about her relationship with Jesus, and that's something that she's working on. But this is something that happens. I could tell you stories. He's going to Lockheed. He's got a job at Lockheed. Okay, never mind. So, okay, there's a lot of good things. Enough. They actually, one of our classes built out part of our Center Cove facility. One of their on-the-job training was to build it out. It was a lot of fun. Okay, here's just a little bit more, a summary about what we're about at West Fort Worth Center Cove. So, we minister through biblical principles. We don't apologize, but like the gal just before us, we don't shove Jesus down anybody's throat. That's the last thing they need. To earn trust in this community is tough. You will earn it. And that's what we're about. So we do that gently, okay? So, short-term assistance, providing long-term solution, and we extend it to the community. Here's just a quick snapshot of the programs that we're about, just that you could see the comprehensive panel of things that we do for these families in West Fort Worth. I'm not going to go through all of that, because I really kind of talked about it. This is just a little overview. So let's just go through, we're going to talk about Reboot. Let's talk about what we did in COVID, okay? And then what it triggered in us to think about, what do we want to do post-COVID when we reboot, okay? So again, we were there in 2019. We were first moving when COVID hit. And so the Tarrant County Food Bank was not prepared for COVID at the very early, okay? I love them, don't get me wrong. I'm not criticizing. They weren't ready for what happened. LBT Rise came with us, one of our partners. Thank you, LBT Rise. And they said, Tom, we can't get any food. So we raised money, and we went there every week. I was there at 6 o'clock in the morning when Benny Keith's pickup truck came in and delivered pallet after pallet after pallet of fresh food, milk, and bread for families that live in Las Vegas. They would line them up, COVID line. There was a COVID line. Every family had to be sick. We had to tape it all off. We put cones, and they were lined up, and we'd come around and get their goodies. So we did that with LBT Ride. We came up with a program called Fun Food Fridays. We would bring in various companies, restaurants, because nobody's going to a restaurant, right? Nobody's going to a restaurant. So we said, why don't you come and just cook, bring stuff, oh yeah. So we did these Fun Food Friday, invited neighbors to come in from the apartment complexes, and we fed them food, okay? Then we provided rent and utility assistance all throughout COVID to try our best to keep these families from being evicted. You can see some of the numbers. It's really not about numbers, it's about people. But this is crisis relief. We cannot do one-on-one, in-person interaction, because that's when Jesus is at his best, right? When we're right across someone and they see we love them, we can see a tear in their eye, and the Spirit leads us on what to say, how to say it, and then things start happening. Okay, COVID didn't allow us to do that. Camp Hope, we've had a bunch of events. We have their apartment complexes. We would have it in their school. The school, Western Hills Elementary and Primary School, would let us come in and have camps on Saturday mornings where we talked about Jesus. It was wonderful. We had volunteers come in. It was amazing. These kids come running in. I got a picture. I don't have a picture here, but there's a picture of these kids would run from one of the apartments, about a half a mile away. They ran up to hurry up to come to one of our camps because it was just such a great thing for us because they got loved and they had a good time. They had a good time. Okay, Building North Texas, I've already commented on that, but just giving you some idea of what we did in the COVID era, okay? So we were blessed to be able to pump in a fair amount of money to really help these families. It's not about money, but then it was. They had to have food. We had to buy it, okay? Keep them in their apartment. What do you have to do? Somebody's got to pay the rent. Have you ever, anybody had to sit down with somebody and do a community action partner application? Anybody know what I'm talking about? Oh my word. Texting it? Emailing? That's what we did. It's very difficult. We did the best we could. Okay, so around July 2020, we're coming out of COVID and we're trying to, what are we going to do? We're really not set up to be a grocery, a food source. in that area. There's other sources of food. We're thinking more and more about building relationships, really establishing a long-term relationship with these families, because the problems that they have are not fixed like that. Of course, Jesus could do anything, but I don't think many of us have seen Jesus fix somebody with a serious set of problems instantaneously. Now, they may be wired and inspired and trusting the Lord. That's instantaneous, right? But it takes years for them to work through a plan. Sometimes, a couple of months. It just takes a little while. That's what we were really about. So, we had to really go back and look at our hard drive. So part of this idea about rebooting is, what do you learn from what you did? Okay? So here was some of our learning. What we found was that our financial service that we provided were too limited. Okay? We used to just say, you get one bit amount of money every 3 months. And we could help a lot of people. Okay? And they were running through like that, right? But what does that say? Don't come back. Don't come back. You're good for $500. At the time, and I don't know about y'all, this is my perspective, been doing this over 20 years, that folks in crisis don't look at human beings, they look at, what am I going to get? Okay? So no matter I'm the nicest, Jesus could be right there, right? And so Jesus would do a lot better than me, I'm just saying. Okay, right? But I'm all he's got right there. So, when they look at me, they're not looking at me that what I got for them could really help them change their life. They just say, okay, check, $500, I'm coming back $300. So how do you build a long-term relationship with people like that? Not, okay? We had a limited budget, okay? We looked at our mission statement and said, not compatible. Sometimes you just got to say, we're not doing it. That's healthy. That's healthy. Better us to say it than someone come in and say, I'm not giving you any money, I'm not coming here, because you get the point. So be introspective enough to really review, are you on track? Okay, the other thing is, the problems families were facing were vast and complex. You can read it here, okay? Once every 3, we couldn't build that trust. We couldn't get past crisis. Get the point, okay? No trust. We decided we needed to bring experts. Now, you've already heard our colleagues there. There they are, okay? You got it way before us, okay? Finally we caught on, thank you, So we just said, okay, these folks are social workers, okay? Okay, we made a cognitive decision that this is what we're going to be to put that level of expertise, ratchet it up a notch. We've got volunteers who now can be trained by the best, okay? Using that amazing discipline so that we can give the best to those folks that come in crisis. Because we don't want to promise something that's not deliverable. They heard that. We better not tell them something that we can't deliver on. So we tell them just straight. Okay? So, this is what we come up with. So our reboot hard drive changes, and I'm almost done. Okay, first, wanted to make sure we wanted to continue to provide crisis relief to families that were traumatized by COVID. Okay? Crisis financial relief, prayer, and compassionate support. If you can't get them the first time they come in the door, and they recognize that there's more here than just that dollar bill, see you next time, right? They start to say, maybe there's something here. Now we have a reputation in the community. The word of mouth is getting out that these people really help. Okay? So this is what we're doing. Second, we want to help family leaders improve their self-sufficiency, that's what it's all about. That's what the social work discipline comes in. Self-sufficiency, we use the self-sufficiency scale that helps us track a plan of action, and so they get on that plan of action to improve where they are. I'll show you some data in a minute. Okay, we transitioned back to in-person meeting. During COVID, it was text, phone call. That's all we could do. That's all we could do. But no longer. Now we meet face-to-face. They come in, make appointments, and we talk through stuff. Okay, it's really awesome. Okay, we focus their attention on their value in Christ. You've heard that from me. That's not news. It's news to them. But we remind them, just because they're suffering through something doesn't mean Jesus and that great God is just beating on them. That's not what this is about. Let's work on a plan and let's bring Christ in to help you move forward as opposed to some distal, maybe, I don't know. Try to help them understand the nature of Jesus. So build plans of action leading to better jobs and more income, okay? Help them learn how to navigate through and around the roadblock. That's that resiliency. If they don't develop resiliency, then the next roadblock puts them right back in the hole, right? So part of our plan, I'm not their savior. Somebody said that earlier today. I tell them, I'm not your savior. I'm not here to fix you. And I'm not better than you. We're equals. I'm trying to help you fix yourself with the help of Jesus. That's really what it is. So they don't look at me like most of me, honestly, be blunt, I'm kind of white. A lot of our folks are different colors. Okay, I'm in the minority. I don't want them to think that I'm coming in to grace them with my presence. Really? That's not what I'm about. Okay, so I just tell it like it is. Okay? Being honest, I just tell it like it is. Because that's what they want to hear. And then follow through on your honesty. Okay. Then commit to help financially for multiple months. Now we're doing something differently. You'll see in a minute how that works. Okay. I said we hired social workers. Big deal. Big deal for us. Focus more of our attention on these plans of action, their roadmaps to success. They work. Sometimes they get they get something that just doesn't work, and they have to work around it. We try to coach them. Okay, instead of quitting and throwing up your arm. Okay, well, what? Maybe this or that. Teach them how to get around that. Okay, and then we increased our budget 50% to rent and financial assistance. If the car doesn't work, it's a critical success factor for them keeping their job, paying their rent, staying in their apartment. You get that? We help fix their car. We bought cars for people. We paid off cars. We put tires on. We put batteries on cars. We've done a lot of things in the car. We got a mobile mechanic out of West Forward. I can call him, Sean, come over, help, please. I can't do it all the time. Okay, so you got to do the things that will prevent them from being successful. But you talk to them about that. So they can think, okay, well, what would stop me from being successful? When I ask that question, they just, most of the time, early on, are like, no idea. No idea. Well, what would be a reason why you wouldn't go to work? Any. That's what they say. Any. I don't go to work. I'm not being mean to them. Don't get me wrong. This is just where they are. That's where Christ has been down. So I start to, okay, well, showing up to work, if something happens, there are certain things you can't just say, I'm not going to work because I don't feel like it, okay? So help them understand what's expected. Yeah. I'm pumped. Yeah, I'm wired and inspired here. Sorry, I'm not going to start dancing. But what's the expectation from their employer to try to help them see from somebody else's shoes? They get out of themselves. You get the point? All right. We self-sufficiency and stress accountability for us. We better deliver and do what we say we're going to do because we're going to ask the same thing from them. We focus now on fewer families. So we're doing longer assistance with the same budget, but we increase 50%, where we're using fewer families. And so the whole point is we're working with them multiple months, and you're going to see a table at the end. There's something coming in soon, okay? That multiple months to really give them what they need to be successful, okay? So year to date right now, we put in about $108,000 compared to the other one. We're just not even through 2 years. So we're really trying to funnel this money in very purposeful ways, each tied to plan to action for people moving forward one step at a time based on self-sufficiency score. Fair enough? So here is a snapshot. I think I only have a few more slides. So a snapshot of a table, okay? A table, this is all good. The whole point is when you look at the family number, we just have a number because we keep things, anonymous, right? Okay, right here, this is the amount of money that we spent, okay, over these number of months. You see some are 10, now we got some 12, okay, some are only 1, some are 5, you get the point, you can read, okay, so this is the amount, the average per family, 2,000, see there's one here, what's the big one, 7,038, it's Keith. So Keith is a father, is a drug addict for 20 years. He says his mama prayed him out of being a drug addict. And so his ex is a drug, still is, somewhere in East Texas, somewhere, I don't know where. So here's a guy who came out of that, and he said, I'm not gonna do that anymore. Cold turkey, according to his story, he stopped, and he had 2 boys. One boy, when he was 3 months of age, had a tumor in his brain back here somewhere. He had to go to get surgery, and they removed a fair amount of his brain, and so his whole side, what right or left, I forget, is compromised. He's got a shunt. And so it's, okay, this is what, and he wanted his 2 boys under his roof. And so one of the things I've been helping him with, is while he's getting back in his earning capacity, is how does he get custody of his 2 boys? So I work with him on a plan to go to the court, So now, guess what? He got it all done. His last judge he went into, he had a few things with the legal system that forward. I'm not complaining, I'm just saying. So anyway, he went to this last judge, and she looked and said, why are you here? He said, well, ma'am, I'm just, trying to do, she looked, this is ridiculous. Done. She just did it all. Okay, in one fell swoop. So we got custodial rights with his 2 boys, and now he's working forward. He's got a job, 2 jobs. He's working 2 jobs. His 2 boys go to Leonard Middle School out there, and they're doing wonderfully. That's the story of this gentleman. I can just tell you story after story. But it took time. See how long? We're still helping him. It's been 9 months. But now we're at the point I told him, now, Keith, we're going to drop down. We're going to be less so you can be more. Because you're doing great. So now we're going to go to 0 on the financial side, but we're helping you by coaching with you. Didn't you meet with him yesterday? Mm-hmm. Okay? Awesome. Yeah, and he's in such a better place because Malik is there. And now Malik, because he needs that. He's going to need all Malik and Amanda have an offer that I don't. I don't have that. That's not where I go. I'm just a chemist. I can do chemistry. Anyway, you get the point. Okay, so when you look here, what you see is the starting score. It doesn't much matter. It's the difference. From here, they started, most of these folks started, and I'm going to come over here, in self-sufficiency score, it helps you have, a flash. What is that person? In crisis. Subject to be eviction. They're in deep trouble. You don't do anything, they're on the street, okay? Like I described. So we got lots of families that are in crisis. One is vulnerable here, okay? But serious problem, okay? But they work with us, and so we do self-sufficiency score. And now they're way up into the 4s. Where are we? The percent increases, look, where, 33, there it is. They're changed. They're moving forward into self-sufficiency. It's a very objective measure, but it's important. It's quantitative kind of. We'll stop there. What did he say? Doesn't matter. It's pretty rigorous because you want to know real data. You got to have real data. You can't say, it feels good. I think they're doing much better. Thank you. Write that in a grant. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're going to give you, that might be 50 cents. And you go take us out for coffee for the rest of it, right? So we want people to see that we're making a real difference. But the scale, if y'all don't know it, over here, they could go, it's wonderful, it's kind of a roadmap. I'm a 1 in housing. Well, how do you get from a 1, which means deep trouble, right? I want to go to a 4. It means kind of stable, safe, you can afford it kind of stuff, right? It's pretty easy. It's so easy and volunteer to be able to see that. So we're extremely excited about this cohort, and these families have moved forward from crisis down to building capacity. Here's this one that's safe. So this is Carla. Carla came to me. She came to me one day. She said, I needed some money to do my laundry. That's all she wanted. Okay. So I tried to figure out how to get her money, and I never could figure out how to do that. Sorry. But then come to find out, shortly after she visited with me, she called me and said, Tom, I've got to get out of here. They're raising my rent $500. This is the reality of it. I'm just telling you. Okay? Just had one not too long ago. They don't tell you the last minute. They walk in and say, okay, we just raised your rent $500. She was paying like $780. Okay? $500. She's on fixed income. She's got a 6-year-old little boy. Really? Okay? And then on top of that, she says, somebody just got murdered outside my door. We heard the gunshots watching TV and the thud of the body outside our window. Brody and I got in a blanket and huddled in the corner of the room. Okay? This is the story. Okay? So fortunately for her, We prayed about it, we worked together. A lot of things happened. Fixed her car, got her paid off, did these other things. She got reconciled with her mother, who was living in South Fort Worth, had her own house. She's blind. I didn't know she was blind. When I asked Carla, how's your mom? Well, we don't get along. Okay, well, why don't you pray about that, Carla? She's been praying. So her mom calls her. Carla, I want you and Brody to come live with me. So now they live across the street from the school. Brody loves school. He's 6 years old. He's got some learning disabilities. He doesn't need this. None of these people do. But anyway, so, yay. Okay, I'm going to stop.
You didn't include the best
I don't
part.
do it as good as she does.
You didn't include the best part at the end of Carla's story about how she'll own that house when her mom passes away, so she'll have a home forever.
Reconciliation, right? Family reconciliation. Jesus does that. She's got strong faith. Thank you for that. That's really, I get so fast. I forget. Anything else I forgot? Okay. All right. So I just use this picture. That's the way we feel. Okay. There's great celebrations at West Fort Worth Center of Hope, but the families are the ones who. I wish they would all come here. They would sit here and they would just say, "Thank you, Jesus, for what Jesus has done for them." So let's go. I don't think I have my 3 points. I'm not a preacher, you can tell. So what am I saying? Say 3 things and be done? Okay. So we reviewed our mission statement. That's critical to everybody on your program. What is it you're about? Is that the right thing? Does it align with Jesus? I think you would agree our mission statement is pretty much Jesus check, right? So we're not feeling on squeaky grounds with our mission statement. Are we living up to it? No, we were not, okay? So does it really define who you are or what you do? Are you in line? We found we weren't. I told you that, okay? It's a hard thing to say. We've been working really hard. You're trying to do your best. But you can get into phrase so long that you don't, oh, yeah, next. Okay, sometimes you have to change directions. It's better for us to do it internally. It's a good check and balance. That is a healthy organization when you can challenge yourself. If you don't challenge yourself, there was somebody here early today, his bottom thing was about churches, but the same thing true for nonprofit is you'll be in the morgue. If you can't challenge yourself, make sure you're doing the best that you can. Okay, be bold. Make the changes needed to restore. Since we're Church of Christ, I'd stick restoration in there, huh? Okay, restore and to be effective. Share the vision with your team. Okay, you've got to have alignment of vision because it gets people wired and inspired. I mean, what do you talk to when you sit down with Carla and she said, you know, the dead body was right there? I mean, I better be inspired and I better be a conduit for the Holy Spirit so she can feel the love of Jesus in that moment of utter terror. Right? So, share the vision. Lead for us. This is it. Lead inspired by the one, the master of the universe. And trust him. Right? Most of us are working in the unknown. Unknown is the normal thing, right? When we're inspired, that unknown becomes way easier for us to step into. Okay? Because Jesus is right there. So, hey, look at there. Are you sure? Yep, okay. All right. Lead inspired. We've got to be courageous. And I'm hearing that for everybody, so I'm telling you what you already know. Okay? But this is for your volunteers. A lot of what I'm saying is you help your volunteers and they know this is their key success factor and do it in love. That's what we did in our reboot. We're in the midst of that reboot and we're excited about the future. I'm finishing up by thanking y'all. I thank Brian. I know Brian touches grandkids in Bible class. Got to ask him about his grandson making some of the best paper airplanes on the planet. I don't know how. He should be an aerospace engineer. I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing. Okay, so he invited me. Thank you for here and for this organization. It's amazing. I'll just say this, and I'm not going to belabor this. I didn't see this coming. I didn't know anything.